are competing against 20, 21 years old Shopify, which means whatever they have done in 20 years, I have to match that within like 2 years, 3 years. Back then, we didn't even know like commerce could happen on mobile. Because like तब snake का game चलता था तुम्हारे phone में. Like if I क्योंकि like mobile पे commerce होगा, you would laugh at me, right? Like कैसे एक पागल हो गया ये, right? But when Steve Jobs was building this Macintosh or like the Mac, he didn't know like whether college students are going to use Mac or like CAs are going to use or like VCs will use or like. I think everybody should start this entrepreneurship too early on. One of the things that I have done, or even my co-founder, like not co-founder, like my co-founder didn't even go to college after 12th. But मेरा खुद का ऐसा like my first year में से already I started going out and like selling websites and so on. If I could have like been that क्या बोलते हैं एकदम studious guy who is just like focusing on the academic, I wouldn't be here for sure.
Oh,
Like the real world is like totally different as compared to what they tell you in college. Because like now is the time when you start exploring ki, like how my post college life is going to look like, and I don't think there is a alternative to doing like crazy hard work. Work life balance तो भूल ही जाओ.
I welcome viewers to the second episode of VisionEx, an initiative taken by the Entrepreneurship Cell of Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. And our special guest today, Mr. Suumit Shah, the CEO and co-founder of Dukaan, has incredibly reflected this in his own startup. Mr. Suumit Shah, who is an entrepreneur and an owner of a multi-million-dollar company, is here with us to share his insights with us. Before that, let me tell viewers something about Dukaan. Dukaan is a DIY platform for merchants with nil programming skills to come and set their e-commerce platforms, aka sites. We as a team of VisionEx welcome you, sir, and truly thank you for your time that you have taken out from your precious schedule.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's always pleasure to help college students because if I imagine myself being in college, like I always had these kind of thoughts like okay college ke baad kya hoga and like how the future is going to be. So yeah, super amazing to
Certainly, you are the one of the successful man I know.
Thank you.
So let's start by knowing when did the idea of Dukaan struck, especially after the jockey's announcement and in the process of bringing this mare idea into this huge model. मतलब आया कहाँ से आपको ये idea पूरा कहाँ से आया?
See, I think it was a COVID, right? Like nobody predicted like these kind of black swan events would happen. At least like the young generation, right? Like whatever max we would have seen in life is like, ठीक है, 2-4 दिन के लिए कुछ तो बंद है, that kind of stuff. But then you get to this situation where like you're not allowed to go for like outside your home for like 1 year. And सब लोग घर पे थालियां बजाते बैठे थे, right? And then you are observing like what is happening in the world and so on. So the idea strike because when like everybody's sitting in the home, most of the businesses were like shut, right? Like people are not allowed to open their stores, and maybe like few of the essential services were allowed to be opened like during the daytime, like for a couple of hours and so on. But what about like rest of the businesses? So people eventually I've seen like a spike in posts on Facebook groups and all that. Like, यार कुछ तो पैसा कमाने के लिए alternatives बताओ. Like, I've heard of this internet. Like, how do people, go online and sell online and so on. So it was a need of an hour because like your offline store is shut. So many people just trying to figure out like online जाके बेचना कैसे, right? Now, biggest bottleneck over there is like if you look at like Indian economy, right? Like there are more than 60 million SMEs, right? Like small mom and pop stores and so on. And if you think about the platforms like Amazon and Flipkart and so on, all of them would require like at least you should have a GST number, which people have. The whole economy is like based upon the cash component and so on. So a lot of people didn't have the GST number, so they were not technically qualified to list themselves on Amazon. That's the first point, right? Like 60 million, it's a huge number, right? Like almost 6 crore people running their businesses. So the idea came in this week, like this jockey outlet, they sent me the PDF file on WhatsApp saying, list of all the products we are selling, and you can just go ahead and place your order on WhatsApp just by replying to this message. But then a question arises, like, okay, if this guy gets like 50 orders, how he's going to manage all the orders? Like, how do you know, okay, 50 में से like 40 ऑर्डर आए तुम्हें अंडमान से, where you don't even like service. Now your majority of time is being utilized for just checking कि like ये सही order है या नहीं है. Then half of the people just said कि like हाँ मैं तो तेरा दोस्त हूँ, like कर दे, लिख दे. Now that becomes like super difficult, especially if you are planning to sell outside the vicinity of your area and so on, right? If you get like few of the orders which are prepaid, now those are the orders which you should prioritize shipping because the guy has already paid. Versus somebody has placed a cash on delivery order, वो जाके ये भी बोल सकते हैं कि यार नहीं चाहिए मेरे को अभी. Now you are like you already use like 3-4 days, your inventory stuck like some place, the guy is not accepting your order. तो ऐसा सोचो कि लाइक दिवाली के दिन पे अगर आपने 100 शूज बेच दिए, 100 के 100 अगर रिटर्न आ गए तो आपको तो शॉप बंद करना पड़ेगा. Just because like you didn't know कि like who's the next guy, and that was the thought कि like WhatsApp पे commerce नहीं हो सकता. It could work if you are a small seller who is getting like just 2-3-4 orders per day. But again, like being a businessman, your goals are not limited कि like मेरे को एक ही store चलाना है पूरा lifetime.
Exactly.
Like I want to expand my business, I want to be like maybe create like 3-4 more stores, or maybe I want to expand in like different cities and so on. So selling on WhatsApp, it's a miserable way of anyone who is planning online and sell online things. So that's where the idea came in, like okay, WhatsApp is not the right choice of solution if somebody wants to sell. Then who? Then came the name Shopify. Now Shopify, it started up like about like 20 or 21 years back. Back then we didn't even know like commerce could happen on mobile, क्योंकि like तब snake का game चलता था तुम्हारे phone में. Like if I क्योंकि like mobile पे commerce होगा, you would laugh at me, right? Like कैसे एक पागल हो गया, right? But that's the today's reality. And Indian economy, you also know, like if you go in like small mom and pop stores, you wouldn't find them using desktops or laptops, which means like whatever you have to do, you have to do on mobile itself. And if you try to set up your store on Shopify, you will understand like how difficult it is. Because me being a computer engineer, like the first try I gave it to Shopify only. It took me like more than 2 hours just to figure out basic things. Now, अगर मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा तो forget about like small mom and pop stores and so on. So that's how like it started, and that's how like even the name Dukaan came in. It was supposed to be a placeholder कि like अभी के लिए कुछ तो रख दो नाम करके, but got the trademark for the word, and that's how the whole story began.
Okay, that was incredible hearing the story of birth of Dukaan.
Yeah.
But you have mentioned that you were from an engineering background. How
Yeah.
did this shift happen? Like, it's been in a trend, as you may have known, that youth is doing engineering and then getting into the market. How did this happen? कैसे हुआ ये सब? Like, ऐसे अचानक से?
अचानक से नहीं तो like before running Dukaan, like I was running my own company called Rice Metric, which was a service based.
Yeah.
Right? Like in service based, the problem is like it's not scalable, because all the people who used to be my customers, they were becoming customers because they had a faith कि like Sumit मेरा campaign handle कर देगा. But Sumit cannot handle like 10,000 people का campaign. Na? Like there is a restriction on the how much time you can give like per client and so on. So that's the situation I was in. Like we can't scale this beyond. So why don't we transition in the product? Now what product I didn't know. Dukaan just started from that whole process. Like अभी जो करेंगे product ही करेंगे. So yeah, that's how like it started.
Okay. So
And
looking,
being an engineer, I think like the only skill which is helpful, like even if you consider today, it's not like coding and all that and all that. It's all about कि like okay, there is a problem, we need to fix the problem, and what all you need to fix that problem. Now that will include कि like right from building your tech team से लेके you need a capital for running a business से, you need marketing people so that people would know कि like okay, there is a platform like Dukaan. So not just one skill, but like series of skills I would say are like required if someone wants to run a business.
the problem solving capacity, the aptitude of problem solving. Yeah. So looking at the journey you have been through, you have worked in a small shop, then founding this metric, and now Dukaan. क्या अप्रोच रहे हैं, क्या चेंज ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस रहे हैं, क्या चेंज ऑफ अप्रोच आपने देखा है आपके आसपास की चीजों में एंड द वे यू थिंक?
I think there's no one experience as such, because when Dukaan started, I think like the whole experience started with the legal battle, because we went into like legal battle with one of the company which is like pretty huge. Then फिर हम लोग पूरा legal सीख लेंगे, like ऐसे ऐसे चलता है इंडिया में legal. And see like the difference in like normal legal scenes that you see in the movies versus tech में जब कुछ legal होता है, it's like completely different, right? And the world is so dynamic, especially for the tech companies now. एक साल पहले nobody was speaking about AI. right? Everybody
Yeah.
now speaking about like AI and chat GPT and like how people are generating like beautiful images just with one prompt and so on. uh, I think the skill that we got is that selection bias कि like what is right and what is wrong will just always pick okay like ये long term में लगता है मेरे को like ये अच्छा होने वाला है करके, so like, let's do that way. Just to give you example कि like we could have easily built Dukaan even 10 times faster if we wanted to build it for desktop or like a laptop or like big resolutions. But when mobile feature that itself has like low computing power, like people don't like won't be able to click like super high resolution images, and there will be like, a lot of limitations and so on. So whether we should invest effort in mobile or not, that is like important decision, because then you are going to hire like hundreds of people who are going to code for you.
Yeah.
फिर 2 साल के बाद में जाके तुम्हें समझते कि यार ये तो नहीं करना चाहिए, ये तो डेस्कटॉप पे करना चाहिए. So all these small such decisions would make like huge impact, which nobody knows कि like when you will realize कि इसका impact क्या है. Maybe like it didn't work for 6 months, but in the next 6 months it could work, like that. So strategy and approach, I don't think like there is a structure or like any pattern. It's just based upon your knowledge of the whole world on that present day. That is what how you take the decisions.
Okay. So right now, आपने जैसे कहा कि it would have been more easier for Dukaan to grow if you would have focused on development on Windows and laptops. तो इससे पहले भी when you were starting the Dukaan, जो प्लेटफॉर्म है उसमें बहुत transactions है, बहुत robust technological infrastructure you need. So what challenges did you face while managing all of that? कि robust technological infrastructure भी चाहिए, management भी चाहिए, and you want everything to be done perfectly.
I think like this whole thing is coming from all the LinkedIn and Twitter posts. कि like तुम्हें scalable भी चाहिए, तुम्हें ये भी चाहिए.
Oh.
I think like real life works like that. Because day one को तुम्हें Bofors नहीं चाहिए. Day one को तुम्हें AK-47 से काम चलाओ ना. कि like unless and until you have those many stores, why you are thinking about like building a scalable infra and like 10 million लोग आएंगे. पहले 1000 लोग लेके आओ ना, उसके बाद में देख लेंगे बात की बात.
Of
And
course.
itself is in like right from whenever like the computer was invented. Since then the computing power has gone up like trillion times, right? Whatever thing
Yeah.
you take, like 10 hours to do, even like basic copy paste की job, अगर तुम्हारे files GBs में होते थे तो तुम्हें 4 घंटा लग रहा है copy करने के लिए. Back then, I don't know if you have seen like that era or no. But now like you are copying the same files or like even transferring the files from one device to another within like a minutes. So even if you think everything available for your disposal at this point of time in the world in terms of tech, कल जाके that could become like totally absolute. And then you would feel like यार fuck, अपन तो ये कर नहीं पा रहे because there is a new technology. My platform is some different infra. Now I have to rewrite the whole infra. That's the exact problem with Shopify, right? Like 20 साल पहले अगर उसको पता होता कि like mobile में shopping होने वाला है, so they would have mobile first, which they did not, which we got
Okay.
right. Like it's born in India, so it has to work on mobile.
Okay.
What should be, you decide a goal like okay, like this is what you want to reach, and once you're like 60-70% about to hit that goal, then you reevaluate everything. You still have like 30% of the room to switch everything, or at least in terms of tech. Baki business strategies and like your go-to-market strategy and all that, that has to be decided like carefully in prior. Because marketing is not
Okay.
right, just the medium gets changed, right? Like आज Facebook popular है तो you are creating all the videos for Facebook, तो जाके TikTok हो सकता है. That would require like completely different format or maybe like some different kind of videos. फिर पता चलता है कि यार कुछ तो नया आ गया meme. Now if you try to explain this concept of meme to your dad, do you think he will believe?
No, no.
Exactly what is happening, and it's not even like rocket science.
Yeah, it's not so much a big thing to be so complicated to understand. Yeah, obviously. Thank you, sir, for such a great insight on this topic. We would like to know कि जो दुकान की जो target audience है, that is really different from other e-commerce platform. आपके दिमाग में कैसे आया, कैसे mind में आया कि you need to focus on these small shop owners and like that?
I think like the first number I told you, right? Like 60 million SMEs. So one point was like there are like huge number of people who are like small stores. So let's start building for them. So they are not going to require like like 100 or like thousands of features, which a big brand would require. Like to give you example, कि किराना वाले को सिर्फ ये फीचर चाहिए कि मैं अपना 1000 प्रोडक्ट है वो ऐड कर सकूं. But if you think about companies like Boat, for an example, Now both sales across like multiple platforms. Like वो Facebook पे भी बेच रहा है अपना Facebook store के through. He's selling on Amazon as well. He's selling on this Meesho and like other platforms as well. So he wants to make sure that like his inventory is updated in real time, no matter like where he sell from. Now that would require like completely different set of features which are not necessarily be required for the small guy. And since we were just like starting to build this whole ecosystem. I think the whole initial focus was on this all mom and pop stores and so on. But if you look at today, brands like Wow Science or even like View Television are already running on Dukaan, which are like super huge brands, right?
Yeah.
Even in a couple of days, like there is like one more brand will be going live, which does like almost like 200 crore rupees of revenue per year. So starting from a small merchant, now the whole focus has shifted to people who are either like big enterprises or like fast growing D2C brands. So, and think of Dukaan like a operating system, right? When Steve Jobs was building this Macintosh or like the Mac, he didn't know like whether college students are going to use Mac or like CAs are going to use or like VCs will use or like तुम्हारे mom dad use करने वाले. He just said कि like
Yeah.
जहाँ पे anybody should be able to get their personal computing or like design or like whatever they want to do. And then this whole app ecosystem came in picture. So if you
Okay.
by the same analogy, Dukaan is pretty much like that. कि जो core commerce का part है, that is whole handled by Dukaan or like we provide all the features. But if you want to do like certain things on top, then there are like external plugins which you can connect with Dukaan and get things done.
Okay, that was really nice to hear on this. But because we have talked about this target audience and about the development of technologies, ऐसे what is your approach on ONDC? कि आपकी क्या राय है कि ONDC आगे 10 साल में क्या रहने वाला है उसका trend?
Right. So before that, like let me ask you two questions, right? What is your understanding of ONDC?
It's like I do understand like ONDC has a lot of potential, but it's a little bit controversial topic from my side also. And apart from that, I just like haven't done a lot of research on it, but I do think that it's a very controversial thing, and people are getting attracted to it a lot more, especially the entrepreneurs, the new young generations who are getting into this line, they're getting attracted to it. So
Now this from the seller's perspective, like okay, like if you are in the business, you have to consider like selling through ONDC and so on. As a consumer, how many orders you have done on ONDC?
yeah,
Do you even know like where to go if you want to place order on ONDC?
no,
Like
I don't know.
I don't know either. But
Oh,
I do appreciate government putting efforts to make things simplified for the people, which is exactly like what Dukaan is doing. So I literally like don't have any views on ONDC.
okay. So no views from your side.
Yeah.
So the next question, moving on to the next question, we would like to say कि दुकान जब initial stages में था, तो आपको ये small shop owners से और sellers से क्या ऐसे feedbacks मिले थे और वो feedbacks कैसे challenging रहे इस पूरे platform को creation के लिए?
I think for the first 3 months, we were just like 4 people in the room, and मैंने अपना खुद का phone number डाल के रखा था वहाँ पे customer support में. So we were attending like almost 300 to 400 calls per day. And feedback right from एक नंबर का घटिया प्लेटफॉर्म से लेके sir I want to touch your feet, I've seen it all, right? So I can't tell you like one single feedback, but I've spoke with people who were selling bakra on Eid. This guy actually sold like 3-4 goats. Now I didn't even imagine like somebody will start selling goats and all that. Then I've seen one store जहाँ पे वो this घर में पूजा पाठ कराना, शादी कराना, these kind of services. Now we didn't imagine like service industry will also start using Dukaan. Like a lot of people who are doing this spa at home and all that, they also are using Dukaan. The real, I think, good moment or like the best moment was like this Jain Shikanji guy, which is from the north. When he went on Shark Tank, we saw like almost like 80,000 x spike in the traffic. And he didn't even
Okay.
tell us like okay he's running on Dukaan. And हम लोग के यहाँ पे एकदम real time का it was like hockey stick curve. And then we got to know okay like this guy is running on Dukaan, and when he's pitching on the national television, the most obvious thing that you do is like just go on Google and search like ये कौन है.
Yeah.
Part is like his website was not down even for like 1 second. He sold like more worth of shikanji than like what he raised on the show. And that happened with
Oh.
people. So there would be like at least 20 to 30 sellers who went on Shark Tank, and all of them were running on Dukaan. So yeah, you get to see like real world people actually using your product, and I think that's what motivates
How
all.
does that makes you feel like when you see successful people on your platform working there? How do you feel about that?
But yeah, it's a feeling, right? Like as an entrepreneur, somebody's
Okay,
actually using your service or like product.
okay.
I think that. Then Instagram maybe as like some girl who sells scrunchies, and she's like one
Mm-hmm.
of the biggest influencer from that particular niche. There are like at least like 2-3 thousand scrunchies per store. कि like all the girls will be following that girl. All the girls have same ambitions. कि like मेरे को भी अपना scrunchies का business चालू करना है. Now then you will realize कि like as soon as you place your order, तुम्हें दुकान की तरफ से message आता है. Now this girl is like okay, ठीक है, let me explore this platform. And now within
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes, literally your store is like up and running. तो अपना जाके like Instagram का bio change कर रहे हो कि okay, I am also selling scrunchies. So I think that kind of network effect I have rarely seen in the tech products.
Okay. As you mentioned right now, sir, कि कुछ आपने आपने तो किया था कि like कुछ products based ये पूरा platform रहेगा. अभी just you mentioned कि people were also giving services. तो ये थोड़ा urban clap की तरह like there's this one company urban clap.
But it's your own URBANCLAP, right? Like when you get a booking from URBANCLAP as a vendor, you have to pay like 30% commissions, or maybe like similar kind of commissions. But here you are building your own URBANCLAP, which goes with your own brand. Like you will say like Sakshi's services.com, something like that. And that's the problem with Amazon, na? Ki like by the time you become like big seller, there are like so many other sellers who will discover your product. They'll start copying you,
Yeah.
and then Amazon will prefer somebody else over you. So your
Mm-hmm.
future is tied in the hands of Amazon. कल जाके Amazon तुम्हारा same product Amazon Basics के अंदर launch कर देगा. So you are out of business. Because I used to sell power banks on Amazon. We used to sell like almost 7,000 to 8,000 power banks a day. And suddenly some of my competitor posted like 30, 40 negative reviews on my listing. My search position for the keyword like power bank went like 2 or 3 positions down, but my business was 90% down. Now that is the situation no owner wants to be in. Just because your search position has dropped 3 positions, your business is like gone. You have to worry about like how you are going to pay the salaries next month. Here you are building
Okay.
a destination. Like whatever I'm giving you is like, okay, you build your own Amazon. You don't have to worry about the tech. You leave that part up to me. I'm not going to charge you like commissions like Amazon, but you have to drive demand. Amazon के case में कि like they will drive demand for your business. If you are selling something, then I don't think like you have to worry about demand driving. Like people are smart enough to figure out because आजकल तो like चौथी पांचवी के बच्चे को भी पता है कि like Instagram पे ad run करके आपका follower कैसे बढ़ाना है. So I think
Yeah.
that's
ऐसे
it.
ही. सर आपने बताया था इन द वेरी इनिशियल स्टेजेस ऑफ आवर इंटरव्यू कि रिसमेट्रिक को आपने जो था मतलब आपको पहले ऐसे लगा था कि बहुत घटिया वेबसाइट है एंड देन यू वांटेड टू अपग्रेड इट एंड देन दुकान कांसेप्ट केम. आपको कभी लगा कि दुकान में कुछ ऐसे फॉल्ट्स हैं या कुछ ऐसे लूप होल्स हैं दैट यू वांट टू इंप्रूव एंड यू वांट टू चेंज?
There is a lot to be done. As I told you, right? Like we are competing against 20, 21 years old Shopify, which means whatever they have done in 20 years, I have to match that within like 2 years, 3 years.
या
Like start over. But I think like ठीक है, basic already we have like more than basic at the time. And as like this big brands are already coming on the platform, that's a validation कि like you don't need like anything more than that.
Okay. So, what is your advice for the young generation who wants to be the entrepreneur and are working for their entrepreneurial idea? लेकिन कभी-कभार काम करते-करते working on their ideas, there's some negative thoughts and insecurities which come. They do have the potential. उनके idea में बहुत ज़्यादा potential होता है, but then they do feel insecure. What do you want to say to those kids?
I think everybody should start this entrepreneurship too early on. One of the things that I have done, or even my co-founder, like not co-founder, like my co-founder didn't even go to college after 12th. But मेरा खुद का ऐसा था कि like my first year में से ही already I started going out and like selling websites and so on. If I could have like been that क्या बोलते हैं एकदम studious guy who's just like focusing on the academic, I wouldn't be here for sure.
Oh.
Like the real world is like totally different as compared to what they tell you in college. क्योंकि like मैं भी तो अपने कॉलेज के सीनियर्स को पूछ रहा था यार कैसे है तू इन्फोसिस में ये है वो है. See nobody tells you कि like they're fucked, right? They'll say कि like इतना बड़ा कस्टमर है मेरा, डिज्नी के साथ काम करता हूँ, ये करता हूँ, वो करता हूँ करके. Nobody's going to tell you कि like okay, what I'm doing, I'm sitting on the bench from 9 to 6. And once you go in that job wala zone, there is no, going back.
Coming back.
You get like as a college student, whatever time you're getting right now to try out all the ideas and all that, you won't get even like 1% of that time once you become like this job wala guy or girl, right? So
Okay.
now is the time when you start exploring ki, like how my post college life is going to look like, and I don't think there is a alternative to doing like crazy hard work. Work life balance to bhul hi jao. Matlab, if you want to like literally do something, other
Mm-hmm.
it's not possible at all. So yeah, I think what everybody should do is, of course, ignore all the negative feedback that you get from your friends, because they will always tell you like why this is not going to work, or maybe they'll sugarcoat कि हाँ बहुत बढ़िया है, कर ले give you example जैसे like I'm sure कि like at least 10 of your friends have tried this t-shirt वाला print का business. It's so generic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them failed. There is not even a single guy
Yeah.
who is smart enough, because what you work
Yeah.
upon is the most important thing. How you work, that is like different story altogether. Like even if you want to build a tech business and you don't know tech, that doesn't mean like you can't build tech business.
Yeah. Of
जैसे
course.
घर में नल अगर खराब होता है तो like तुम्हें प्लम्बिंग आने की जरूरत नहीं है, तुम्हें प्लम्बर का कॉन्टैक्ट होने की जरूरत है सिर्फ. So it's pretty much like that. So you start building like all your relations with people which you think would be helpful for you, like going down this entrepreneurship वाला path. Now that includes right from your tech से लेके support से लेके sale कौन करेगा, marketing किसको आता है, product photography कौन करेगा, and all that. Be friends with them. You don't have budget. You work like as a group. तो उसमें से एक जो नेता है वो CEO बनेगा. Who knows? This is how I have to align the group towards solving particular problem, and everybody has to work in a sync without fighting. नहीं तो बहुत ज़्यादा, क्योंकि I think aligning people on one goal without distraction itself is a super important skill one need to have. So start trying from now. Don't think like college के बाद देख लेंगे वो करके, अभी से I think
अच्छा.
you should start
So,
one thing. I think दुकान का भी वही है कि like the mission, like we want to produce like more entrepreneurs in the world.
okay. That was really, really relatable story that you told right now. और अभी आपने जैसे बता ही दिया है जो ग्रुप में नेता होगा वो सीईओ बनेगा. कुछ नेता वाले टिप्स हमें भी दीजिए कि हम भी लीडर बने.
It's not okay. So group में ऐसे कि like सब लोग को तो एक की मतलब पटती है, या फिर even if they have like arguments जैसे कि like ठीक है यार ये जो बोल रहा है ये सही होगा, भले ही like अभी मेरे को सही नहीं लग रहा. So that one guy. Again, like that,
Okay.
titles don't matter at all. It's the work that you do. But yeah.
सर जब दुकान की जब डेवलपमेंट हो रही थी and you guys have just started all of this, what was your first approach? Like, how did you manage to get the first set of customers for Dukaan?
I think like my first 1,000 customers came from my own social profiles itself. Because last 8 years, 10 years, like whatever network that I've built, I think like that was initial. Like I simply posted in like one of the Facebook group or something through which like we acquired like a lot of users. After that, I think we were dominating the top position is in the business category on Play Store. So once you
Okay.
are like, ranking on the top position in the Play Store, you would see like at least like 60, 80,000 downloads per day. So that was initial, way how we were acquiring customers. Over the period of time, I think that organic wala has shifted towards referral or like word of mouth. Ki one girl started, now her followers are seeing like the same example that I told you, right? Ki like how she has built this store. She doesn't even know like the tech. And in
Yeah.
the like वो fight मारते लोग. Like if somebody wants to find any information about you, and if the guy has intent, he will find the information, because internet पे इतना सब लोग का life public है पूरा. So does the software. Whatever you want to do, you just go on Google and search for something, right? Even if you consider examples like that, क्या था वो? एक single page आता था, short links, like people would add 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
क्योंकि like कौन सा tool है, उसके जैसे 1000 tool already market में होगा. All you have to do is like just one Google search, like okay, I want to do this. You will just land on the software, you will get things done. So I think that discoverability has become super easier these days. Considering like 20 साल पहले अगर तो business चालू करना था, so there were like very few avenues you could spend your money on or get in front of people. कि like TV ad करना है तो like crore rupees चाहिए. So that is like out of question. But now if you start something, you are just one post away. You also know कि like तुम LinkedIn पे डालो, Twitter पे डालो, कहीं पे डालो. If it is actually helpful, then people will see. And सारे social medias का like basic algorithm वही है कि like if you get like initial traction, then that post will get like more and more and more reach. So if you're doing something amazing, then I think people will discover you. It's not difficult.
Okay. So आपने बताया था कि one should start entrepreneurship वाला journey very very early, and you yourself have started that in your first year. How did you manage your academic all scholastic thing and this business risk metric?
I just had to manage the 40% pass wala limit and your attendance. And I think like 40% तो हो जाता है, तुम थोड़े भी smart हो तो करके attendance का करो manage. Everybody has their own ways.
Okay. Okay. So you were like कि काम चल जाए.
You see, like college can't teach you everything, right? Like college can just teach you basic things, and with
Yeah.
basics you can't survive. Especially when you
Yeah.
सर कि यार I want a 4-wheeler 3 साल में, फिर मेरे को BMW चाहिए 8 साल में. That path you don't even expect if you are doing a job. Because no
Yeah.
guy, like at least I don't have a friend who works in Infosys and who drives BMW.
Oh.
I don't have. That's what I'm telling you. Like, job is super hard, and
That is definitely something I'm going to print on my t-shirt.
don't forget to pass like 30% profits to me.
Of course, of course.
Cool.
So that was so lovely talking to you. But then I have this one एक छोटा सा डाउट मेरे मन में आया कि दुकान ऐप में जो इतना बड़ा जो ब्रिज आता है यूजर्स में, जैसे आपने बताया कि कुछ कुछ यूजर्स हैं शार्क टैंक में जा चुके हैं and कुछ यूजर्स हैं दे आर जस्ट स्टार्टिंग अप. तो इतने बड़े गैप को आपकी टीम कैसे कॉम्बैट करती है, कैसे आप मैनेज करते हैं? आई जस्ट वांट टू नो दैट.
It's just product itself, right? Like there is a journey, right? How a normal seller would onboard on the platform versus what all things he keep adding. To give you example, so in fact, like I'll show you. Hold on, I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
So this whole thing is available on app as well, right?
Okay.
But for the sake of convenience, I'm showing you here. So I'll just create one account. Hold on. Okay, I just choose the email ID. I'll just choose the password. OTP भेजेगा यहाँ पे. Okay, now that's your store. I'll just say red T-shirt. I'll say fashion category. Price 100 rupees. 10 rupees discounted price. I'll generate the description. This happens via AI because we know like people won't be able to write like good descriptions and so on. So
Of course.
you have to just like add the photo. I'll just pick any random photo. Okay, add product. So you just go here, refresh, you will see like the product is added to your store. And you don't have to worry about anything. Now the next task is like you want to accept online payments. It is as easy as just writing your UPI ID. So for instance, हो गया already, right? So all the digital payment methods are already activated on your store. The buyer just have to add product to the cart, go to the cart, and place their order. That's it. Sorry. एक सेकंड ना. Done. So the payment is done. You'll be redirected back. So you see here, like I didn't do anything apart from clicking just like few buttons where you didn't necessarily need to know like anything about tech or anything at all. So that's the whole thing, right? It must. So as soon as so this as a consumer, my order is already successful. As a seller, you'll be able to see, okay, you have received a new order. These are the order details. If you want to ship order, yahi pe ship kar do. all the delivery partner integrations are already provided. So it's more of a how someone is improving in their own journey. Now, once you do the one order, once you start doing 100 orders, you will understand okay, there are like few issues regarding shipping, or maybe like you are giving like more commissions on like certain payment methods and so on. Now you want to optimize your payments or maybe like logistics, so you can add like new things on top of the cart. So it just keeps evolving more and more and more. जैसे apps में और phone में है ना कि like जब नया phone खरीदते हो you have like basic apps and so on. But as per your needs, you will keep installing like Instagram and LinkedIn and podcast. Or
Yeah.
so it's pretty much like the same.
Okay.
So it's
So,
all
sir,
yeah.
it was the way you have showcased how to create an account and how to sell a product on your app Dukaan. बहुत simple था, बहुत easy था, like few clicks में we are done with everything.
Yeah.
Isn't it similar to Shopify, or can we see Dukaan competing Shopify in upcoming years?
We are already in competition since the day we started.
Oh,
See, like remember I told you, right? Like I spent 2 years, so sorry, 2 hours getting my store up and running, which I couldn't. That's the reason like we started Dukaan. Like ठीक है इससे नहीं होने वाला.
okay. So you do see yourself as a competition of Spotify, a bigger competition of Spotify, definitely.
Shopify, yeah.
Yeah. So, so what things can we expect from Dukaan the upcoming years? What areas do you think can we improve and we can put on in Dukaan?
I think the major expansion will happen across multiple countries. I think because now we already have like all the features and people are same no matter like which part of the globe you go in. Like even if you go in US, वहाँ पे लोग जाके Amazon पे 4 स्टार का फिल्टर लगा के सॉर्ट बाय प्राइस ही करते हैं कि लाइक सबसे चीपेस्ट फर्स्ट दिखा दो जिसका 4 स्टार रेटिंग है. इंडिया में वही होता है, right? Even the way you are adding product, right? You are writing red t-shirt, वो भी red t-shirt ही लिखता है वहाँ पे करके. So I don't think like there is much left on the tech front or like features front. But US as a country, I think it's much bigger as compared to India, at least in terms of when it comes to paying for the softwares. Because India is a country where people don't even pay for the operating system. If you remember, like people used to remember this Windows XP का key
Yeah.
installing the operating system. So यहाँ पे थोड़ा मतलब time लगेगा लोगों को to कि यार software
Get that into them themselves.
yeah. So I think yeah, that's
सर जैसे अभी आपने अभी just mention किया था कि दुनिया भर के जो लोग होते हैं that is same. और जैसे अभी मैं पर्सनली आई टेल यू, मैं एक पर्सनली मेरा ये ओपिनियन रहता है कि हर जगह के लोग डिफरेंट रहते हैं. तो ये आपने बहुत लोगों को देखा होगा, बहुत पर्सपेक्टिव सुने होंगे, बहुत एक्सपीरियंसेस दिए होंगे, देन यू आर सेइंग दिस लाइक दिस. तो आपका ओपिनियन चाहिए था, व्हाट डू यू थिंक is the role or the key play in Suumit Shah's life? Is it luck or is it hard work?
I think it's a combination of both.
Combination of both. Oh my God. Okay, how?
Hard work to कर ही रहे. Maybe like luck played. Like of course there is a luck. I do believe in luck. And I'll like share like a couple of videos with you about like luck and all that. And I think what is most important is like it's not just like Suumit Shah, right? Like there are like at least like 100 people who are working day and night making things like simpler for people who don't know tech and all that. So it's not just me, but like the collective effort of the team, which is and I think like it's still too early because it's been just like 3 years, and I do believe like it takes like at least 10 to 15 years to build a company which is a like legacy company which people would remember. This is just the beginning, I guess.
Okay. So your insights and your views on the topic of self-growth, like अभी आपने बताया था आपके colleges में there's just only basic education, nothing more. It is so interesting to know your personality, and I'm too interested in knowing all of this. Is there any advice you want to give to the youth today or the parents? Because parents so specifically होते हैं. Like I have seen many of my friends जिनको बहुत कुछ करना होता है, but they restrict themselves due to their parents' restrictions. So is there something you want to tell them?
I think like one has to be selfish even with their parents just for your own good. I'll give you an example. Like my parents were forcing me to get married from the age of 22. I got married at the age of 31. I just kept delaying. You find like new reason every single day. I was selfish, right? Like my parents wanted me to like them to be happy, me to be happy, and they thought like शादी करके खुश रहेगा करके. And I dodged that bullet. Same goes with your parents with regards to the profession as well. कि आप जैसे 4 साल तक इंजीनियरिंग में पढ़ रहे हो, your dad and mom is not asking you for even single penny, right? It's not like 4 साल के बाद में like instantly they are going to start asking you for the money. So maybe like you give like 2 years after the college, try to do your like something of your own. If you fail, then only go this job wala route and all that. If you directly go from like job wala route, then you will never be able to try out all the ideas that you always wanted to try. You won't get the time. I told you, right? कि तभी तो like if you have heard like all like our parents say कि like लड़का अच्छा है गवर्नमेंट में जॉब करता है. See,
Yeah.
they mention this thing government में job करता है, it's the stability and security. If you are choosing the path of entrepreneurship, there is no stability, there is no security. So only do if you want to, go through like extreme, because it's not fun. Although you see in the media कि like okay, startup ने इतना पैसा उठाया उसने वो घर पे नहीं आता पैसा. You have to put like literally your blood and sweat to make things work. So it's not easy. One has to do it only if they feel like they are like mentally and physically and एकदम strong to take the bet and make it happen. So it's not fun. And it's not the only way to stay happy. Like I've seen like people doing like normal job like 20,000-30,000 रुपए कमा के भी same ही खुश है.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
So
won't
what message for the parents for?
an entrepreneur, but if you have like that kind of goal and ambitions and energy, then of course like why not?
Yeah, of course, why not? And what message would you like to give to the parents? Like, अगर आप अपने younger self के parents को समझाना चाहते कि you wanted to do something big, real
I
big.
don't give any message to parents because I can't convince my own parents, right? Like when I left my job, I didn't tell my parents for like almost 8 months. 8 महीने के बाद में उन लोगों को पता चला कि इसने job छोड़ा ही करके, right? So if you keep sharing everything with parents, then maybe like it's not good.
Like, seriously, you shared after 8 months?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And what did you do till between the 8 months?
So I like switched the job. I started the agency. Agency started making money from day one itself. So I didn't have to worry.
Oh.
But think this way, like if I would have left the job and आगे के 8 महीने तक कुछ भी पैसा नहीं कमाता, then the situation would have been different. So at what point you take like such bold decision, that is also like important. कि ऐसा नहीं कि like चक दे देख लिया और मैं कल से जो है मेरे को हॉकी प्लेयर बनना है. वो 4 दिन का पेट्रियोटिज्म होता है. You also know, right? Like
Yeah.
not. So one has to वो यार सेल्फ असेसमेंट है कि like you also know कि like how much you are capable of doing and like whether you will survive this extreme world or no. There is again like no rule book or there is no recommendation. Nobody can tell you like how to live life because everybody has like different context. So there is
Exactly.
no point of building a company or living life. You do like whatever you feel is right, I think.
That was such a free-minded opinion I heard right now. I've got many lines, many lines. I'm definitely gonna like play this whole recording and I'm going to write it on my notebook and I'm getting it printed on my t-shirts. Definitely I'm doing to do that.
Perfect.
You have a very fun personality. I'm really impressed. I've learned a lot from you, sir. So, at last, we would like to end this meeting by thanking you for your precious times and insight. We're truly, truly thankful for your wisdom and the time you have devoted us with VisionEx and Sri Aurobindo College, Delhi University.
So much for having me, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Have a nice day, sir.
Bye.